Welcome back to another Magic EDH deck tech. Do apologize, it's been so long. I've been working and haven't had a chance to make any new decks. As you can see today, we're going to do a Grim-Grin deck. If you don't know what he does, he enters a battlefield tap, doesn't untap during your untap step. However, you can sacrifice a creature, untap him, and then put a 1/1 counter on him. And then whenever he attacks, destroy a target creature defending player controls, then put another 1/1 counter on him. So he's really fun. He's a good way to get rid of some of those creatures as long as they don't have hexproof or a shroud. But let's see what we got, what we're working with today, before we can get to the heart of this thing. But he is so much fun to play. So we got 15 islands. And somewhere in here we got some swamps. And yeah, it's a lot of basics, but I was on a budget for this, so I only had so much money available. And then we have 15 swamps as well. And then we got some of our utility lands. Koroi comes into play tapped. I have to sacrifice it unless I actually return an untapped island to my hand, but it does tap for an island and a colorless, which is really nice. Same thing for this one, the Everglades. It does the same thing as the other one, other than it taps for a swamp and one colorless. Yeah, the Crypt, pretty much it comes into play tapped, it taps for colors. I can pay 2 and then tap it and add black mana equal to the number of creatures in my graveyard, which sometimes can be a lot and sometimes it can be nothing, and you're just better off to tap for a swamp. Drowned Catacombs comes into play tapped unless I have a swamp or an island, which is very rare that we don't. And then it taps for a swamp or an island. The Landscape, it does come into play tapped. However, you pay 2 and you can sacrifice and go search up for 2 basic lands. Put them into the battlefield tapped and then shuffle, or you can just tap it for colorless. Really, it's a mana ramp for 2. And then the Lighthouse, pretty much it taps for colorless, and then creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and shroud and can't have hexproof and shroud. So you really always want to keep this available in one colorless for when you're attacking with Grim-Grin. So pretty much what you want to do is make it where the creature that they have is no longer hexproof or has shroud, if we can destroy it, which is really nice. Rally Quarry Tower if we have no maximum hand size. And then we're going to get into our artifact ramp, I guess would be the easiest way to explain it. We got a Soul Ring. Golem's Eye taps are 2 colors, even though it does cost 4, but it's still 2 colorless. Coral Diamond, pretty much it costs 2, tap, add, comes in battlefield tapped, add a swamp. Burnished Heart, it's a creature, but it is ramp because that's really what I use it for. That, or I'll just sacrifice them to him, and who cares at that point. But you pay 3, sacrifice them, search for 2 basic lands, and then put them onto the battlefield tapped and then shuffle. So as you can see, there is ways to ramp. And then we have Thornian Dynamo, tap, pays, cost 4, colorless, and then you add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool. Sapphire Medallion, pretty much it just makes my blue spells cost 1 colorless less. Commander's Sphere, wow, I can talk. Add 1 color of anything that my commander produces, or I can sacrifice it, draw a card. Sky Diamond comes into play tapped, adds 1 blue mana when you tap it. Jet Medallion makes my black spells cost 1 less, so pretty much I can cast him for 3. A Swamp, a blue, wow, Swamp, Island, and 1 colorless. And then we get to some of our utility stuff. Next disc, pretty much destroy all creatures, artifacts, and enchantments. The only time I play this is if I'm getting to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm going to die. So I try not to play that or use it too much. And then we got the Living Weapon. Really, it's a great way because I can sacrifice it to Grim-Grin, and then I can attach Grim-Grin to it. So it's really it's a lot of fun because you have a lot of swamps. And Boots, because we want to give them haste and hexproof. Elixir of Immortality. If you don't know what this is, it should be in every single EDH deck, because this way you don't ever run out of your... Pretty much you don't lose your graveyard at that point. So you keep it on the battlefield. Someone's like, oh, I'm going to Pajuka Ball you, which, you know, can't really respond to the land entering the battlefield, but you can only respond to the actual effect that happens when it enters the battlefield. Then you just shuffle this, gain 5 life on top of it. And then we had the Bad Moon. And pretty much gives my black creatures +1/+1. Makes Grim-Grin bigger. Fool's Demise. Pretty much what it does is it... Excuse me, having a tough time talking today. Pretty much enchant a creature when it dies, and return it to the battlefield. And then when Fool's Demise is put into the graveyard on the battlefield, return it to your hand. So what you do is you... Pretty much there's a creature in here that when it dies, it makes another token. So pretty much you get the creature back. So it's a lot of fun. So you get the token when it dies, and then you also bring the creature back again, and then you get double the amount of tokens. Wall of Ideas. Pretty much it lets, when it enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. And at the beginning of each other player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. At the beginning of my draw step, I get to draw 2 additional cards. So my hand runs out quite often, so I had to figure out something. And then we had to perforate because we want to be able to put extra +1 counters on him or on planeswalkers. So it does make a lot of fun because you can pretty much max out your planeswalkers really quick whenever you cast a spell. And in here, you're going to be casting a lot of spells. Beacon of Tomorrow, because I do want to take extra turns because I want to be able to kill somebody quicker. And then it gets shuffled back in. Black Sun Zenith. Excuse me. Pretty much it just gets a -1/-1 to each creature, then shuffle it back in. Wow. Profance Command. Wow. Choose 2 target player loses X life. Return, or you can return target creature card with converted mana cost X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Or target creature gets a -X, or up to X target creatures getting fear. So it's always fun when you're playing people who can't actually block it and then give everything fear. Pretty much this is a Black Sun Zenith, but just for the amount of swamps you have, which is nice because it's another way to deal with board wipes. Promise of Power. Choose 1, not 2 this time. You draw 5 cards and lose 5 life, which I'm okay with. I need extra cards. Or put an XX demon creature into the battlefield with flying, where X is the number of creature cards. Number of cards in your hand as a token enters the battlefield. So if you draw a bunch of cards that turn, draw 5. You know, if you draw 3 extra cards and then you play this, you probably have quite a bit. Rite of Replication, because I want to do this on some of the creatures in the deck. It'd be nice to have 5 of them and just sack them all to Grim-Grin and kill somebody. Oh, that's if it was kicked. Rush Your Knowledge, draw cards equal to the highest converted mana cost among permanents you control. There's some permanents in here that do cost, I don't know what I have to say, 8-10. And then this one is nice because you can pretty much return X non-land permanents to those owner's hands, which, I mean, it's pretty much a Cyclonic Rift with, but you get to choose which permanents that way. Temporal Trespass, it's a delve. This one's quite a bit. Don't ever really cast that unless I have the mana. But pretty much I get to take a extra turn, which is great. So you guys probably just heard my furnace kick on. Stein of Blood. Pretty much I got to draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, which I'm okay with. Read the Bones. I scry 2, then draw 2, then I lose 2 life. I'm still okay with that. Spoils of Blood. Really fun card for 1. Put an XX black horror token creature into the battlefield where X is the number of creature cards that died this creatures that died this turn. So if I'm sacking 10 tokens to Grim or creatures in this point, and then destroying theirs, I can put a big old creature out. Into the Roll Kicker, return, if it was kicked, you get a cast additional, yeah. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If it was kicked, draw a card. So it's only 1 permanent, but it still get a draw card, and I don't have to deal with something if I don't have to. And then target player gains X control for up to 2 target non-attacking creatures until their turn, and tap those creatures. They block this turn Fable. So what's really fun is you play this and you take their creatures when you're attacking and sack them to Grim-Grin. People hate that for some reason. Don't know why. I just don't understand that. Sudden spoiling split second, so it means the stack's closed at that point. Till the end of turn, target creature. Until the end, creature's target player control loses all abilities and have base power and toughness of 0-2, which is really nice. And there's a Cyclonic Rift that you guys all know about. Cosmic Counterpart, pretty sure you guys know what this does. Pretty much makes a copy of a creature you control with flashback. And then Intellectual Offerings, choose an opponent. You and that player each draw a card. Choose an opponent, untap all non-land permanents you control and all non-land permanents that player controls, which is always nice. Of course, as you can see, yes, it's a gold border Force of Will, because I refuse to pay, what, $100 for a Force of Will when I can get this one for $4 on eBay. So, and my play group says it's okay, so we got a Force of Will. Undermine, counter target spell, its controller loses 3 life. Pretty nice, I'll take it. Teferi. If you guys are probably watching this, you probably already know what these would do. I'll actually put it up here if we can. I'll try to put it up there. Stupid autofocus. This way you can look it up. If not, you can look it up. It's just there to be able to draw some extra cards. This one, really, I don't really use it too much, other than for I can sacrifice it, draw X cards, lose X life. Well, gain X life and draw X cards, which is nice, so that's why I try to get him out. And then the -2 is always nice because it lets me put a token, but I do lose 2 life, and then each opponent loses life, and I gain that much life, so it's always nice if they're like down to 1 or 2 life. And hopefully I can get this refocus here back up to the cards. There we go. Move the camera up a little bit. Sorry if I'm shaking a little bit while I'm doing that. There we go. Alright, so we got the Overseer flying. Pretty much when the Overseer enters the battlefield, you may destroy target creature, which is nice. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls, put a 2/2 zombie token on the battlefield. When it dies, sorry. So pretty much you want to kill their stuff, and then you get a zombie to make Grim-Grin bigger. So it's fun. If a creature died, tap 2 untapped creatures you control, put a 5/5 demon creature in the battlefield with flying. Activate this only if a creature died this time. Obviously, that's what Morbid does. Power play, extort, and then other creatures you control have extort. So if you have a bunch of tokens out, which as you can see, there's really not too many ways to make tokens, but it is pretty fun to play. So pretty much you can extort all your tokens. Still Hellkite for their tokens or their permanents that I don't want to deal with. So it's really a lot of fun when you actually go in and someone's playing a tokens deck and like, oh, I'm gonna swing in with this and pay 1, and then all the tokens go away. That's a lot of fun. The only reason she's in here is to the draw. That's it. That's the only thing I really use her for. I don't ever attack with her. I draw cards. She's in here because, well, I could make little fairies, so why not put her in here? Especially if they're playing a monocolor. Yeah, that's always a lot of fun. Oh, and she's a 5/5 flying for a 6, which is I'm okay with. And then if I have my artifacts out, it's actually for even less than at that point. So it'll be for 4. He's in here because whenever him or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature, which is always nice. There was actually a new one in Dragons of Tarkir, however you pronounce that I want to get. It's a dragon that says pretty much whenever I sacrifice a creature, each opponent has to sacrifice a creature. Yeah, definitely need to get that in here. He's in here because, well, he's a flying beast at that point, because most of the time I control him, so like he'll be a 6/6, and then whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. So why not? Cryptcast, just because the extort, but really it's whenever I tap a swamp for mana, add that much additional mana to it. Lynch Lord because he gets to make me some tokens. Pay 2, tap him. Maybe pay 2, tap him, put a 1/1 black and blue zombie token, and then pay 2 blue on a 2 black. Target player loses X life and puts the top X cards of his puts tops. Wow, you guys probably read this quicker than I can even talk at this point. Top cards are where his or her library into the graveyard, where X is the number of zombies you control, which at times can be quite a few zombies. As crazy as it sounds, it may not seem like it, but there's ways of getting a lot of zombies out there. He's in here because, well, he's a 5/5 flying with Shroud, and I can always look at the top card of my library anytime I want to. It's always fun. The Reaper of the Abyss, well, he's a beast. He's a 6/6 flying for 6 that has Morbid at the beginning of each end step of a creature died this turn. Destroy target non-demon creature. Let me tell you, there's a lot of creatures going to be dying, so it's always nice to have that. And here's that card I was talking about earlier that I'll attach that enchantment to bring him back. Because pretty much, if you don't know what he does, when he dies, you get to put a 3/3 fish token on the battlefield. When this creature dies, put a 6/6 blue whale. And when it dies, you get to put a 9/9 kraken on the battlefield. So you attach to that, sack him, then he comes back, and now you have more to do. He's in here because, well, he's going to help me make some of those tokens that we were talking about. And at times they can be rather large tokens, but once you pay 3, 2 colorless and a blue, tap them. Each player puts the top 3 cards of their library into the graveyard, exile up to 2 creature cards, and then put an XX zombie, blue zombie token onto the battlefield, which is weird for zombie blue, but well, that's what we'll do. X is the power of the cards exiled this way. Well, she should be in here somewhere. Here we go. We'll just go ahead and get to it real quick. Alright, so this works really good with this one. I pay 1, a swamp, tap, sacrifice another creature, which would be a big old, say, hopefully a 10/10, and make 10 2/2 black zombie tokens on the battlefield where X is this creature's power. That seems pretty good. And then you just make 10 little tokens, make Grim-Grin bigger. He's in here just pretty much, he's a 7/6 flyer for 8. Yeah, he's a little overpriced, but his ability to pay 1 black, it's not even a tap ability, just pay 1 swamp, do 1 damage to each creature and each player. I know it does affect you at the same time, but I have won a couple times with him, and he's a big flyer. When people see that, they're like, okay, now I got to deal with this, as well as trying to deal with Grim-Grin, as well as trying to deal with me making a bunch of tokens. And this is always fun. Pretty much it's a way to deal with a large group of tokens or deal with problematic cards. Play him, and then we flip everything over. Everything gets turned face down, all other non-token creatures get face down, and his power is equal to the number of face down cards. It's really bad when you have no face down cards because then it just dies, but it is fun. Mocha's Coffers, pay 2 colorless, add swamps equal. Add swamp to your mana pool for each swamp you control. So 15 swamps if I can get them out, and an additional 15, so that's pretty nice. Bloodgift Demon, pretty much at the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and you lose 1 life, which is going to be me. I'm going to draw those extra cards. Grave Titan, just because I do want to be able to put some more additional zombies out. There's some more zombies, and when he attacks, put 2/2 zombie. When he 2/2 zombies, and whenever you put into the battlefield, do the same thing. And here's a little Kraken here. He's a 5/5 Kraken for 5 with hexproof. He's also a lieutenant. As long as you control your commander, he gets +2/+2, and has whenever it becomes blocked, you may draw 2 cards. So it's always nice. I do try to do that. And then Death Touch, when it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card, and you put some more zombies. 2/2 zombies. And this is a big boy here, but when he enters the battlefield, you may exile a target non-token creature, which I'm okay with, especially if it's Eldrazi. And then he gets +X/+X, where X is exiled cards, power, and tough. X+X+Y, where X is the card's power and Y is the toughness. So it's a lot of fun when you're dealing with those indestructibles. Just to, well, I'm not really destroying it, I'm exiling it. So, and he was a big boy, but the only reason he's even in here is his ability. I don't really care about him. I don't really That or I sack him, but he's a filler at the moment because I can't find anything better at the moment. When he attacks, I may pay 8 if I do. Tap up to 8 target permanents. Those permanents don't untap during their control's next end step, so I tap lands because I just don't want people to play cards. So, but thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to try to continue to put videos on here. I will be doing 2 or 3 tiny leaders decks. I got 2 more commander decks that I was able to get together for us. I'll try to get some more of those up. And thanks for watching. You guys have a wonderful day.